one day, we were traveling in Thailand. We had 2 weeks on the island of Phuket, and we were flying back to Canada 2 weeks later. So we went to one little island, and the island was great. And then we thought, let's try this other little island for 2 nights, and then head back to Phuket and fly back to Ottawa. Long story short, we stayed 6 weeks on the tiny little island. And I knew right then that I would retire there. I can't tell you why I knew it. I could just feel it. It just hit me. And my first couple of days on this island weren't great, but it was just this feeling that overcame me as I got on the island.
Okay, everyone, welcome to the podcast. I have a guest with me, and if you're looking at the background, if you're seeing the video of this, you're like, oh my gosh, that looks gorgeous. Yes, but it's a little bit of a smoke and mirrors because my guest today is actually in Ottawa, Canada for now, but heading back home, and home is a gorgeous island, and we're going to hear all about it. Perley-Ann is with me today, and I'm so excited to talk to you today. Thank you for making time for us. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm great, and thank you so much for having me.
It's amazing. So you have a very unique story, and you've written a book about it, which we're going to talk about on the podcast. Welcome, welcome. You are sort of retired because you still have all these great projects you do, but you are living in 2 different worlds, really. Ottawa, Canada, and you're going to tell us about your home away from home and where your heart lives. Welcome again to the podcast. Can you tell us where your true home is, the background behind you, where your home is compared to Ottawa, Canada?
My true home is on Koh Lanta, which is a small island in southern Thailand, almost to the border of Malaysia, and 2 islands removed from the mainland. So it's way out there. And that's why I called my book Way Out There, because where I live is way out there. I'm semi-retired because I just can't seem to retire. I was in the technology industry as a business analyst, systems, blah, blah, blah. And I could manage to work project-based. Technical projects go live at Christmas. And because I'm Ottawa, the capital, a lot of government projects don't start up again until April because of the government year. So I had this gap of 3 months, and I would travel. And I would travel anywhere and everywhere I could because I wanted to see the world. So I've been all over the world. I've flown over Everest. Oh, nice. I've been right beside Kilimanjaro. So that's just telling you I've been everywhere. And I've always wanted to retire out of Ottawa because I can't really afford to live in Ottawa. It's just too expensive if I'm not working.
Really?
Well, I have a house. It's great, but I've worked for myself, so I have no pension. So I've always known one day I'll be somewhere else. And if I'm not working, I don't want to be in a city. I want to be somewhere where I can enjoy my life. I can be creative. I can exercise on my bike down an abandoned beach for 5K each way. And that beach is 10K from my home. So I'm looking at a 3-4 hour workout, which I love. So one day we were traveling in Thailand. We had 2 weeks on the island of Phuket, and we were flying back to Canada 2 weeks later. So we went to one little island, and the island was great. And then we thought, let's try this other little island for 2 nights, and then head back to Phuket and fly back to Ottawa. Long story short, we stayed 6 weeks on the tiny little island.
Wow.
And I knew right then that I would retire there. I can't tell you why I knew it. I could just feel it.
Yeah.
It just hit me. And my first couple of days on this island weren't great, but it was just this feeling that overcame me as I got on the island. So while the first island, which was Koh Phi, was great, Phi started to not be great when Leonardo DiCaprio's movie, The Beach, was released. So I'd been to Phi years before. The island was empty. Literally, there was almost nothing on it. A few bungalows, like huts on the beach, a couple of stand-up restaurants, and that's it. And it was heavenly.
Yeah.
So the next year when I went back with my partner, it was inundated with bungalows and tourists. And it was just not, it was great, but not what I remembered.
Yeah.
So on the trip, when I said to him, you know, for 2 nights, let's go to this other tiny island. We've been hearing rumors about it, that it's great. And then we'll head back to Canada and we'll both head back to our contracts work. And it was just amazing. We couldn't leave. We made every excuse to our workplaces, our family. My God, our family thought we were insane. But now, 20 years later, not only have we kept going back, we have 10 years ago, we bought a beautiful home on the island. I try and spend as much time as I can there.
Yeah.
But when Fujitsu or IBM or Canada Post call me with an offer I can't refuse, and it's summer, I'll come back to Ottawa and do the contract. And they all know I'm leaving December 1st. I'm long gone. So I managed to do that. Now, during COVID, I didn't come back. So for 3 years, I didn't come back. And it was fabulous. At my age, I'm living the best life because I'm living in an environment that allows me to explore my creativity, whether it's writing my book, whether it's building these crazy garbage art statues that are now all over the island, or just doing things that are creative. Like there isn't a plant pot in my garden that doesn't have my happy cat symbol on it, my cartoony cat. And not just flower pots, but if I see a wooden chair, doesn't take long before it's covered in turquoise or purple cat faces.
Nice.
And it sounds like, oh, that's stupid and corny. I'm happy. That's all that really counts. So I'm intentionally doing whatever I can to feed whatever is coming out of me.
Nice.
I'm not bothering anybody. I'm exercising a lot. I'm eating the way I want to eat, which is no chemicals, no meat. I do like sugar. I do like juju.
Yeah.
And I'm exploring and being creative and learning new things. And I'm having fun.
How many people live on Koh Lanta?
That's a really funny question. Koh Lanta is a tourist island.
Okay.
And it's important, maybe here we don't get it, but you can see the beach behind me. It's clear, it's beautiful. I know I took that picture in the winter months because if it was the summer months, anytime between, let's say, April and October, it would have been full of garbage, absolutely full of garbage. Because in that part of the world, the monsoon winds change and blow inwards. And with it comes all the garbage in the Pacific. And the water's too rough for snorkeling, diving, for any water sports that are so popular. And you can't even swim because the water's rough and full of garbage.
Yeah.
So the island basically shuts down at the end of April, almost like a ski resort in the summer.
Yeah.
It shuts down. So there is an expat community there, and there's a small Thai community that stays during low season. So maybe there's 15,000 people in low season and 50,000 people in high season.
So now for those people who don't know where Koh Lanta is, how big is the island roughly? So you get a sense of how big it is.
Yeah, it's about 26 miles long and maybe 4 miles wide.
Oh, wow.
And now there's a bridge to another island that you take a ferry to the mainland to. But it's not like Phuket, which is the big island, or Koh Samui or Bangkok. I mean, you can't fly to Koh Lanta. So the nearest airport is about 2 hours away. That's including the ferry trip. Now, most people don't fly to that little island. They fly to Phuket. So you can take a 2-hour ferry there. I mean, it's off the beaten path. It's way out there. So you really get expats that know where they are in the sense that, oh, I didn't get off a plane and I'm here. No, I had to work to get there. And the expats that live there understand that we're on a little island. If you need something major and serious, it's not there.
Yeah.
So if I have plans in place for medical, if there's an emergency, I can do it, but there's no emergencies arisen. I mean, I can be on the mainland in an hour, go to this small city called Trang, which has a fantastic Western hospital. So I'm not worried about that. There's markets daily to buy fresh food. There's no real supermarket like we know.
Yeah.
But there's lots of shops and there's nothing I need. If I want to go to the movies, movie theater just opened, outdoor movie theater.
Nice. With
a huge dinosaur sculpture that I made 8 feet in front. It's kind of fun. But it's a place where you go, if you love it, you go back. And if you really love it, you think about how to live there. Can I work remote? Can I retire here? You can get wonderful accommodations that would be so expensive back in Canada or the US or Europe. Yeah. And there's a kooky expat community where all seem to be retired from a professional career or early retirement, or maybe doing what I'm doing, that I'm really retired. I mean, it's 60, the people retire, but some people are there at 35, 40. They have a big, beautiful home. They have an office, fiber optic. They work from home. They might fly back to their home country a couple of times a year for business meetings or, there's another Canadian woman, actually, she works for an education institute and she's their Asian representative. So she's constantly flying out to Bangkok or Hong Kong, Beijing, Kuala Lumpur, but she's based on Koh Lanta. So it's a really good eclectic mix. So I can find people that are kind of like me, and that's kind of fun.
So what is it like for you to live in 2 different worlds? Like Canada and Koh Lanta, those are 2 different worlds completely. Like for me, I would be like, I'd be thinking about Koh Lanta the whole time. My heart would be there, but my body would be in Ottawa. How do you balance the 2?
When COVID hit and the lockdown happened, and we were locked in the country. I mean, with special permission, we could fly out, but I knew we couldn't get back in. So I wasn't going anywhere because my home, my cats,
yeah.
I call them my kids. People get mad at me for that, but I love them dearly. And I thought, I can't leave this and go to Ottawa. And for what? I have a small home in Ottawa to be locked in. What for? I only want to be in Ottawa if I'm on a contract.
Okay.
And the same with my partner. He hasn't retired yet, but he's an electrician. And during the winter, there isn't a lot of work. So he heads out just day or 2 before Christmas and flies back in April. So that's kind of his thing. And my thing is I only come back when I have a contract.
Yeah.
So some years I've come back maybe for a month in August just to renew my driver's license or see friends and to get a break, just, my vacation. This year I got a call about a contract that with a client I used to work with, and it's not as stressful because I know the technology, I know the players. So I agreed to come back. It keeps getting extended, but I have my drop dead date. Will I come back next year? I don't know. I don't really want to come back because when I'm here in Ottawa, I miss my home.
Yeah.
It's like you go on a vacation for 2 weeks and it ends up being 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, and you're thinking, but I only wanted to be away for 2. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
When I'm in Thailand, I don't think about Ottawa at all. So one day when my partner finally retires, I'll be full-time.
Yeah.
And then if we come back to Canada, we'll be in Prince Edward Island visiting his relatives, or maybe Calgary seeing friends, and maybe stop into Ottawa for a little bit. But with Skype and Zoom, I talk to my friends every day, and my friends here and in Thailand every couple of days. And sometimes, like I'm in Ottawa now, one of my best friends, I see him more in Thailand because he visits me all the time than here because he's busy. So I see him on Zoom, but not really in person.
Yeah.
So that helps with the mental transition. It really doesn't matter where you are. Like you and I aren't both in Ottawa.
No.
So and your viewers could be anywhere.
Exactly.
I think technology is fantastic.
It's amazing. Okay, let's talk about the book. I know you showed it to me before we hit record. There it is.
There it is.
Amazing. Now retired way out there.
That's me. Actually on the island of Phuket.
Okay.
On Klong Dao Beach. And the picture is just so perfect.
It's nice.
Because it's not often you get a beach with nobody on it. It's just not. And I just love that picture because for me, going into the background, similar to this beach, it's possibilities and opportunities. So I've decided to write the book because so many people say to me, how do you do it? How did it happen? How did you end up there? Mm-hmm. People that know me from Ottawa think I'm nuts. I'm really crazy. But the ones that visit me there, they want to retire there too.
Yeah, I bet.
And the thing is, don't you miss stuff? Shopping malls and traffic and people? No, I don't. I don't. But if I want some excitement, I can drive an hour and a half, take an hour flight to Bangkok, and at the equivalent, it's about $50. An hour flight, unbelievable. And I'm in Bangkok. I can have 3 or 4 days in Bangkok, run rampant, do everything. The malls, the theaters, more malls, more markets, more restaurants, fantastic restaurants, high end, low end, and then come back to paradise and go, oh, thank God I don't live in Bangkok. But it's fun to go to.
Tell me a little bit about the people. Because it looks gorgeous about where you're living, but tell me about the people that you meet and live with. Like you must stand out as a Canadian, right? And they must be interested in the red hair. Like you must attract people to you. But tell me about the people that you live with. What is it about the people of Thailand and in Koh Lanta that you're just like, they just make you happy and bring you joy? Tell me about these people.
Yeah, and for expats to live where I live, we have to want to be there. And I say that because a lot of expats go there and they're very judgmental or they're critical or it's not like back home. But you have to get rid of your expectations and just be. And people say, I don't like Thai food. Well, in my home, I don't cook Thai. Why would I cook Thai when I can go out there and get a fabulous meal for $5?
Yeah.
Really. My home is my home and it's Western and it's inside. It's what we want. Now, our friends are a mix of people from around the planet.
Nice.
One bestie is in Ireland, the other from Ireland. 2 other besties are from Sweden, 1 from Finland, and then 3 from Thailand, not necessarily Koh Lanta, but they're similar to me, a little older, we're educated, we had a career. So it doesn't matter where you're from. Your head isn't in where you're from. It's, do I have fun? Am I relaxed with them? Am I being me with them? Am I not, am I trying to pretend something I'm not? I don't think when you go to work, you have that work persona. In Lanta, I'm just me. And at my age, if you don't like me, then you can take the bus and go somewhere else. That's my mother's line, like, get off the bus. The Thai people are absolutely amazing to me. And I think that's because I approach it with, I'm humble. I never brag.
Yeah.
I never try and show I'm somebody. I never try and abuse them. And I always respect anything they're doing or what they're doing. I never say, oh, you're doing it wrong. In Canada, we do it like this. Because if I feel that way, maybe I should go to Canada if I want to tell people what to do. Now, if somebody comes to me and says, I'm trying to do this, what's the best way, or what do you recommend? I might say, well, in Canada, I might do it that way. Here, I've modified it because I want to assimilate or integrate with the culture. So it's mostly my attitude. And if people don't have my attitude, I have trouble with them. I don't disrespect anybody. And if I'm uncomfortable around a certain kind of person, then I always smiling. I just don't socialize with them or hang around with them.
What was that moment for you when you were no longer a tourist, but you were home? Can you tell me about that moment? Because there has to be a moment where you're like, I'm just visiting. And then I'm like, no, I'm not visiting. This is where my heart belongs. Can you tell me about that moment?
Yeah, and I do talk about it in my book too, because I look at it kind of two segments. The first 10 years, I was a tourist. The second 10 years, I'm a local expat. And going every year for vacation was fantastic. 2 or 3 months, 1 year, 4 months. We lived in the same beach bungalow right in the sand. And we were meeting the other tourists. It was wonderful, doing all the tourist things. I say that because I don't do tourist things anymore. And I only go to the beach to exercise because I love walking and biking on them. So it got to the point where we got bored, or we realized there must be more on this island. There must be something off the beach. And as a tourist, you don't want to get off of Paradise Beach. But we would start exploring slowly. And about 8 years after we were going, we started meeting some of the locals. Like, you see a Farang, foreigners are Farangs, and you see them every year. And, where are you staying? Meaning what resort or what bungalow place? And they'd say, oh, we have a house up here. Or, yeah, I own the restaurant you're in. Oh, interesting. And got to know them. And we started spending less time on the beach and more time with the locals that live there. And I knew that we had to find a place. Every time we'd leave in April, we'd load up a big container of suitcases of all our stuff, because in Ottawa, I'm not going to wear the same clothes I wear in Thailand. It's 30 degrees when it's cool. And we just knew, and it took us 2 years to find our place. There were lots of options. It's all covered in the book. We had to make some heavy decisions, because it wasn't like we were getting a vacation home. We were getting a home. Yeah. And your head is different. On vacation, you wake up, it's the beach, it's this, mindless. But in your home, it's more organized. And there's things that you want and you depend on. On vacation, you can say, oh, I don't care about that. When I get home, I have it. Well, I'm at home.
Yeah.
I want it. And it was interesting, our whole decision-making. So I'm really happy, and we improve our place all the time, and it's really home. And my cats are there, and I love them dearly, and I miss them. Yeah, it's fabulous. People go, oh, well, you did it. It's impossible. But I was just open. I wasn't looking to find a place to retire. It just happened. And even when we found our home, it happened. I was open to possibilities.
Yeah. So
being positive and open and looking forward to finding something one day, not my purpose today is to do this, or I'm on vacation for 2 weeks. Monday, I do this. Tuesday, I do this. No. I wasn't like that at all. It was, I'm on vacation for 2 months. I'll go back and work my 12-hour days again. So I'm just going to chill And then things happened because I was open.
Mm-hmm. So can you tell me who this book is written for? Who should read this book? Who should buy this book?
A couple of people who love Thailand,
Okay.
people who want something different or feel they're in a box or they're really unhappy, but they want to be happy and they know that they can find something better.
Okay.
So I did. I mean, it wasn't like I was that unhappy in Ottawa, but I knew I wasn't staying in Ottawa. I had to find something else where my senior years would be happier than working every day.
Yeah.
Where I could be free. People who are approaching retirement that are looking for possibilities will read my story and then think about your own possibilities or how you could be open to recognize the possibilities. Because if you're happy, open, optimistic, when a possibility or an opportunity presents itself, you recognize it. So that's something that people don't even think about. They go, oh, I need healthcare. I only have a small budget. Everything is terrible. There's no hope for me. There's nothing I can do. And no. Be open to possibilities. Sure, I need healthcare. I don't have a pension. I need to go somewhere where I can be creative because that makes me happy. I want space. I love the sea. I want to be near water. Sure, the heat is hard, but I didn't reject it because after 2 weeks, my body acclimatizes to the heat and I'm fine.
Yeah.
Just fine. So a lot of people say, oh, I can't visit you. It's 35 degrees, but try it. Drink lots of water, get plenty of sleep, stay out of the direct sun. Your body gets used to it and then you're fine.
Yeah.
So it's a journey and I love my journey. And I look around at other people my age. In 1 year, I'll be 70. But I don't feel 70. I feel like I'm living the best life and other people can do it too. They just have to try. Figure it out for yourself. Don't do what somebody else does. And don't listen to somebody selling you your retirement home. Figure out what's inside you and what you need.
It's so inspirational to talk to you, and the smile on your face and the joy in your heart when you talk about your home. Like, we work so hard in life to get things and a house and possessions, and you seem to be working in a reverse order of getting rid of those things and being free and not tied to possessions, and the freedom you have now to live in paradise and just live a joy-filled life every day. It's such an inspirational story. And I really hope that everybody comes and buys your book and learns more about you. But the one thing before we close off, and again, thank you for making time for us, is how do people connect with you? And if your story inspires them, how can they learn from you and get in touch with you if they have a question, they want to buy the book? What's the best way to find you?
Well, my book is on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon in any country, basically, and type in Retired Way Out There, my book,
there it is again. Yeah, there it is again. Yeah.
There it is again. And my name, that's my Facebook page. Follow me on Facebook. I have an author page on Facebook and my own page. And I also have a website, Perley-Ann.com, no hyphen. Check me out there.
Awesome. And you put
message. I get back to everybody.
And you post amazing photos. You post your creativity and taking the garbage that washes up on the beach and you turn it into beautiful works of art. Yeah. Like, everyone needs to go. And I'm going to put links in the show notes because you do need to go check out Perley-Ann's work. It's just outstanding, like what you're doing. And you're taking something bad and making it into something good. That's inspiring as well, on top of everything else. So You are just a great guest, a great author. I want to get up and move right now, just talking to you. So thank you for inspiring everyone today. And I encourage everyone to go buy the book, support Perley-Ann, and again, go check out her content because it's beautiful.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're a great guest, and I just appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. I love the beach. I love the beach. It's gorgeous. Well, the podcast is over. Thank you for being a part of this episode. If this is your very first episode, welcome to Living the Next Chapter. You can go back in our catalog. You can see some of the past episodes. But if you want to get a sneak peek of what's coming, you want to jump the line? Yeah, I got something for you. Go to our YouTube channel. Again, links are in the show notes and on our website, livingthenextchapter.com, and you can go to our YouTube channel and get the most recent episode way before everybody else. So we're putting this at the end of the podcast because we don't want to tell everyone. We don't want to have a stampede, but we're having some great conversations over on our YouTube channel. You're invited. You've been here this far. You're the one listening. You are invited to our YouTube channel. Go over there and you can see the most up-to-date episodes in real time. Meet you over there. Thanks for listening. Cheers.
Mindshift Power Podcast, the podcast for teenagers and those who work with them. There's a huge problem in America today. There's a very large disconnect between teenagers and the adults who work with them. I'm looking to bridge that gap with real, raw, honest conversation, not held back by the chains of political correctness. You cannot solve a problem you do not understand. Want to understand teenagers today? Listen to this podcast. This podcast is for teens in the U.S. and Canada. To learn more, go to fatimabay.com/podcast or just look for Mindshift Power Podcast on any listening platform. I look forward to you being a faithful listener.